Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 pounds and a Ric Flair.
It's just good to be here with my guy, Ben McKee. It's just good to be here with my guy, Ben McKee. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. Hope everyone's having a great evening. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. Jason Swain here with you on a beautiful Thursday. Feels like spring. It's not spring. It's supposed to be like 30, 40 degrees next week. I don't know what's going on. We're going to enjoy it while we here. Ben McKee, it's that time of the year, man. Basketball, baseball season has kicked off. What is up?
Not a whole lot. Trying to enjoy the madness. Was hoping maybe the Lady Vols could hang with South Carolina a little longer than they did, but that seems to have dissipated as the fourth quarter is about to begin. Hopefully the Grizz can knock off the Sixers tonight, but trying to enjoy the madness of basketball and baseball season. Hey, February's up pretty much. It's March, so time for one of the best tournaments in all of sports to get going.
Which tournament is that?
The NCAA tournament.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to the NCAA tournament. I know there's some folks who are not thrilled about where this basketball team is, and I'm one of those people that not necessarily thrilled, but with getting Josiah Jordan-James back and getting Julian Phillips back, this team can do some damage. And I don't think it's a surprise that they still have the 6th best odds to win a national championship according to Caesar Sportsbooks. You look at this team play over the last 7 games and you wonder why. You look at KenPom, they're still number 5. You look at the net rankings, they're still number 3. It doesn't make any sense, right? But defensively, his team is still stout, and I think and I'm hoping that this team plays at a high level on both sides of the court once Julian Phillips and Josiah and Jordan James come back. But right now, there's cause to pause and the cause to be concerned. But I hope that this team can get it going. I am proud of the way Santiago Vescovi fought through illness, didn't practice last week, played his butt off, just came up short. But I didn't expect Tennessee to beat Texas A&M without your 2 starters. I just didn't. But, yeah, this team got to figure it out, man, offensively. And they got about 3 regular season games to get together and a couple games in the SEC tournament to figure it out. But I want to ask you about baseball before we even get started on basketball. Tennessee ruined my prediction of an undefeated season after their first game of the year. I finished the tournament 1-2, came back here, handled business against Alabama A&M. But I don't know why anybody was expecting this team to be like last year's team. Like, that was the best regular season team in history. This is a different team. There's different pieces, but there's a lot of pieces from last year that we expect to be really, really good. But the biggest story with this baseball team is Maui Ahuna, the Kansas transfer, not eligible, it looks like. And so, Ben, I know you have been on several shows around the Southeast talking about this, and folks have asked you about this, Ben. So I know you've had time to many repetitions on answering this question, too. Leadership reps. So be a good leader here on the Swain Event and give us the latest on Maui Ahuna. Clear your throat, DJ Cool.
I would like to announce that I am pleading the 5th.
Okay, you can plead the 5th.
I kid. It's a weird situation that has several legs and arms to it, and there's still a lot of questions to not only be asked but also to be answered. Obviously, if there are questions to be asked, then obviously there are answers that are needed as well. It's simply it's not cut and dry in the sense that it's the NCAA just sitting around with its legs propped up and they're being lazy and not doing the necessary paperwork or something along those lines. It stems from some questions that popped up with how Maui Ahuna transferred to Tennessee from Kansas. Tennessee did not do anything crazy or just completely out of bounds or this and that. And from my understanding to this point, what is called in to question the way Maui Ahuna transferred from Kansas to Tennessee started, if you'll remember, with the Darren Rovell tweet that came out, I want to say the next day after he committed last June or later that day. It was within the time frame of when Maui announced that he was transferring to Tennessee. And I don't have the tweet pulled up in front of me to read word for word, but paraphrasing and just the synopsis of it is that Darren Rovell tweeted that Maui Ahuna was going to Tennessee because of NIL opportunities, and that Tennessee dropped off a big bag of NIL money for Maui Ahuna, which I can confidently say that the number that Darren Rovell tweeted or alluded to was not true. Maui Ahuna, as you have already seen with some local businesses, was going to be given the opportunity to cash in on NIL opportunities. Again, we've already seen that happen, but there was no set number, from my understanding, like Darren Rovell alluded to. And there were some opposing coaches or one in particular within the SEC that has not been fond of Tony's operations over in Knoxville. Not anything out of bounds, just in general. I mean, it's no secret that people outside of Knoxville do not like Tony Vitello, but an opposing coach maybe used that Darren Rovell tweet that wasn't all that accurate as ammunition to maybe point the finger at Tennessee and try and catch the attention of those in the NCAA to look at Tennessee. So that's where Maui Ahuna not being eligible this past weekend stems from my understanding. And again, there's so many questions that still need to be asked and answered. So I want to be careful with what I say.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to be accurate with
what
I say first and foremost. But that's essentially what it all stems from. And this was something that Tennessee expected to be cleared well before the season. That they are very surprised that it has taken this long for Maui to become cleared, have his eligibility cleared. They knew that this could always be a possibility. They just didn't think that it would come to this. They thought that it would be handled by the time opening day rolled around, and it did not. It wasn't until about a week out from first pitch or game week itself that kind of Tennessee was under the impression that okay, this could potentially become a thing to where he's not eligible to start the season. So Tony Vitello told the media on Tuesday after they beat Alabama A&M that Maui and Tennessee have one final step to clear with the NCAA. So it does seem like it's close to coming to a resolution, and that would be sooner rather than later.
Good, because I was going to ask you when can we expect Maui Ahuna to suit up for the Vols? So you answered that, and we'll keep an eye out for any news or notes that can help us understand, give us a timeline of when we can expect him back. So I want to get the latest from you and what's going on there. It's going to be, man, well, it was a beautiful day today and yesterday for some baseball. I don't know about this weekend. Looks like it's going to be rough, but there's only 97 games left in the regular season. We'll be good to go. We'll catch some other ones, but I want to get your take on the weekend as a whole, Tennessee baseball, and What did you take away from the performances in a win or a loss, or what's some things you feel like we need to address? There's no reason to freak out. I know there's been some hot takes over the last couple of days with Tennessee baseball, and golly, man, we still doing that? We still doing the hot take stuff on social media? I guess so, but first baseball series of the season, and there were some hot takes. But what did you take away from the weekend as a whole, Ben?
Well, starting with the positive, I thought the pitching staff lived up to the hype. Mm-hmm. Chase Dolander and Chase Burns, they weren't as crisp as they are capable of being. They did leave some pitches out there that they would like to have back, but they weren't bad. I mean, they were good and really, really good at times. And that was against two good baseball teams. You and I talked about it last Thursday.
Yep.
Arizona and Grand Canyon are two really good baseball programs.
Yep.
They are.
We did.
Losing to Grand Canyon in baseball is not the same as losing to Grand Canyon in football. Like it's I don't want to say it's on the level of Gonzaga, because Gonzaga basketball has been elite, but even in basketball, it would be kind of like losing to maybe like a St. Mary's, a team that's just has a really good to really solid team every year and are pretty frequently in the tournament or fighting to get into the tournament. That's Grand Canyon. Obviously, they're not a household name, but they are a good baseball program. Have been. They won over 40 games last year. And they have one of the best prospects in all of baseball, high school baseball, college baseball. It doesn't matter. Jacob Wilson, their shortstop, is an absolute stud. And you saw that right away when he took Chase Burns down the right field line for an RBI triple. So the pitching staff has lived up to the hype, in my opinion. And it's pretty crazy that two of their better bullpen arms aren't even available at the moment. Wyatt Evans and Camden Sewell, they're being held back right now for some precautionary reasons. Just no need risking it this early in the season with their arms. And I mean, those two guys Camden Sewell might be your most trusted guy out of the bullpen, and Wyatt Evans is due for a breakout season as a sophomore, and they're not even available. But you've seen Zach Joyce come in and be dominant. Drew Beam was awesome on Sunday against UC San Diego. You've had some other newcomers impress in their debut. So the pitching staff lived up to the hype for me. But obviously the offense is not where I anticipated it being, and probably need to recalibrate expectations for the offense. I don't know that it's going to be an offense that is one of the very best in the country. I think they'll be good, but honestly, I got Tennessee basketball vibes. Not in the sense of the offense is going to struggle the way the basketball offense has all season, but in the sense that the baseball team, they're gonna if they're gonna go win something of significance, if they're gonna live up to the hype this season, it's gonna be behind the pitching, aka the defense in basketball. And Tennessee does need to get better defensively in the field. But the offense, and it was without two key pieces against two good baseball programs. Maui Ahuna and Griffin Merritt weren't available the first two games, and they'll need those guys back in the lineup. So probably need to recalibrate some thoughts and expectations for the offense, but no need to freak out. Like you said, it was two close losses in competitive baseball games against two good teams. So Tennessee does have some work to do, but I think that they'll be fine, especially with the way the pitching staff is. That's just going to be dominant all season long, and they'll be able to win a lot of games because of that pitching staff.
All right, my man Ben. That was a whole lot more than I asked for, Ben.
Yeah, my bad. You know I like to talk.
No, it's all good, man. That's what I want. I want more. And there's only one guy I'm going to go to when it comes to Tennessee baseball to get it. So, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely, man. I feel like we need to take a break and kind of change gears. The telephone number is 865-255-03. You can give us a call, get in on the conversation. Any questions or comments? The Swain Event app is free for your Apple and your Android devices. There's a feature on there to allow you to text us with any comments or questions. And so we'll get to the text box. We'll take your phone calls. the way it works. If you're just joining us and you're new, you don't know how it works, give us a call, put you on hold, and then we'll patch you in and just give us your name and where you call it from. And love to have you, love to hear from you. So I think we'll take a break. Let's take a break, and then we'll come back, change the directions, pivot a little bit. And I got a bone to pick with you, Ben McKee. Mm-hmm.
That's fine.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick with you, man. Yeah, I got a bone to pick with you, sir. 865-255-03, Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. We'll be right back. Scott, if you notice a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. You know you need to stop playing around and schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments for just $155 a month, cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center, or you just want the convenience of at-home treatment, all good. Low T Center makes it easy to get started on treatment. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Hey there, Swain Event fam. Happy to be back with you on the weekly show, and although our Swain Event schedule has changed, I'm still here on a daily basis to help you with your real estate needs. So if you are still looking for your forever home, give me a call. Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
You're listening to the Swain Event.
You don't say.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. It's about time for a Swain Event meeting at Dead End. It's about that time, my friend. Break some bread with you. Lady Vols down 9 with 3:50 to go in the fourth. And they're playing their butt off. They just picked up a offensive foul on South Carolina, so it's Tennessee's ball. They're fighting. They're fighting their butt off. I will say that. Carolina's number 1 team in the country. They're a dynasty right now. And Tennessee hit some timely threes. Strickland's hit some threes. Rakia's doing her thing. Again, she's dropped 20 points, and seems like the last few games she's balling, showing why she is going to be a top prospect in the WNBA. Looks like we turned it over. That was the bugaboo. That was going to be the deciding factor for this team. So it looks like it's South Carolina's ball. Going to have to get a stop. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. Jason Swain here with you. So let me tell you about my bone to pick with you, Ben McKee. I'm going to tell you about my bone to pick with you. Had me rolling. Had me laughing. So, Tennessee, Texas A&M. Played on Tuesday. I didn't think we would win. My confidence level was a 6 out of a 10.
High?
Yeah, I mean, it was a 6 when we played against Missouri too. But I just wasn't confident how we was playing. I know we beat Alabama without Josiah Jordan-James and without Phillips, but we play lights out on defense. Offensively, we're good enough. And we were at home. Texas A&M is a team that I don't think people are giving a lot of credit to, a lot of respect to. Game was at home. They're a game out of first place, top first place in the SEC. they presented some matchup problems for sure. I didn't feel confident about the game. But we was up 9 points, and man, I thought we played our butts off. And with Vescovy being limited physically because he was dealing with the illness, I mean, I was highly impressed with how he came, and he was a warrior. Zakai Ziegler, a lot on his shoulders, man. He's having to do, I think, too much. He had 4 turnovers, 4 assists. That's not Zakai-like. Missed some shots. I think the length gave him some trouble. I thought his dribble pickup on the last shot, he didn't get his hands all the way on the ball. So the ball came out a little funky on his 3-point shot because I don't think the dribble pickup was clean. And, we fell short. A lot of fair and constructive criticism on social media. A lot of unfair and criticism that would cross the line. And just like you have the right to criticize the play that you see, player got the right to let you know that he don't appreciate how it feels like when things are good, there's love. And when things are not, he gets trash. And he has the right to say that. And he did. And I understand what he's saying and all that good stuff. So the next day, I felt like it was appropriate for someone that played at the University of Tennessee, understands what he's going through, has a voice. Whether it's heard or not, I don't know, but have a pretty good voice, I guess. And I just thought it was important for me to back a fellow student athlete up. So I said, good morning. I ride with Zakai Ziegler and Santiago Vescovy. And this dude, Ben McKee, gonna ask me in public, do you ride with Grady Dick too? And I almost lost it. I was laughing so hard. And I was like, I got something for it. Let me type this out. I was like, nah, delete. I want to type this out. No, delete. I ain't going to do it. I want to tell you right now, Ben, that was good. I was rolling. But I thought Josiah Jordan-James did a really good job of owning it at the Big Orange Tip-Off Club on Wednesday when he spoke. And man, he's taking full accountability for how his team has played. They haven't lived up to expectations. But the cool thing about college basketball, which is different than football, Ben, you know how at the beginning of the season you have these goals you lay out for yourself. The first goal for football is what? What's the first goal? First milestone?
I assume that we're going to go ahead and jump to SEC champions or winning the SEC East.
Yeah, winning the SEC East. So that's step number 1. Number 2 is winning the SEC. So you win the East, you go to Atlanta. Step number 2 is winning the SEC. And then step number 3 is winning a championship, putting yourself in position to win a championship. And with the college football playoff over the last couple of years, you can actually win the championship without winning the SEC. And when those goals are dashed, like it just changes the whole demeanor of the fan base and sometimes the team and the program. And even with losing to Georgia first, step 1 was still attainable, but you needed help, right? Like you needed somebody else to beat Georgia. I mean, that wasn't going to happen. So now it's like, all right, well, let's see if we can have a chance to win a championship without winning the SEC, which was still on the table. Well, lost to South Carolina. So that was off the table. So really, after the South Carolina game, everything was off the table. So the only thing you had to do was go to a good bowl game and finish the season off with a good taste in your mouth and win the last game of the season. Well, basketball is different. Everybody loses their last game of the season except for the national champion. So for basketball, even with Tennessee not playing the way they should be playing right now, losing 5 out of the last 7, they still have all their goals except for one that's attainable. The first goal for basketball, Ben, what is that?
I would say SEC regular season champs.
SEC regular season. And what's after that?
SEC tournament.
SEC tournament, and then go win national championship. Well, you ain't going to win the regular season. That is mathematically impossible. But you can win the tournament, and you can go win national championship. Even though there's not a lot of people right now that believe this team is ready today to go win a national championship. They got some work to do. But you can still go win the tournament, and you still can go win a national championship. And so they still have 3 of those 4 goals obtainable. That's what Josiah Jordan-James said. But he also said that, man, they got to play better. Like they gotta figure it out. They got to play better. He's confident that they're able to do that. I just want to see what this team looks like, Ben, once they get healthy. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, that's a huge difference in whether or not this Tennessee team can go achieve their goals. Obviously, if I'm betting on it, I'm not gonna pick Tennessee to go far at this point.
Not right
but that they still have the pieces to go do it. They do. It would not be the most surprising thing in the world to see them in the Elite Eight. It wouldn't. I'd be surprised if they got to the Final Four. And I know that's only a game difference, but I guess just kind of saying Final Four out loud and saying Elite Eight out loud, it just sounds much different. But this team, to me, kind of honestly feels like that Konzo team that went to the Sweet 16 and should have been in the Elite Eight if it weren't for that bum ref in the Michigan game.
13-14 team.
Yeah, that team kind of underwhelmed throughout the regular season and didn't win as much as the talent on the roster probably said you should win.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fair to say that about this team so far. This team should not have lost the games that it has lost to this point. The Florida game, Vanderbilt, Missouri. I mean, the 2 losses to Kentucky.
That loss to Missouri, goodness gracious. I do understand the late game blunders, but man, team shoot 14 threes. Whew, it's hard to beat that team. But yeah, shouldn't have lost there because of late game mistakes. I get you.
Yeah. But my point, Tennessee's better than Missouri. And correct. They're in your building. I don't care if Josiah and Julian are not playing. That's a game you should win, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And the overall point that I was making is that there have been so many inexcusable losses to inferior teams, to teams that you are definitely better than. Mm-hmm. I like that Missouri team. I think Vanderbilt's a pretty solid team, even though they had an awful loss to LSU over the weekend.
No, like yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah, yesterday.
Those are solid teams, but Tennessee still should not be losing those games.
I agree.
In my opinion. So it kind of feels like that Konzo team, that last Konzo team that lost some games, more games in the regular season than it probably should have when you look at the roster. But you knew they had the pieces to piece it together.
Yeah.
And they did. They had guys step up when it mattered most notably Josh Richardson in that Iowa game and in the play-in game. And then people don't talk enough about how much luck, good and bad luck, is involved in the NCAA tournament. And that Tennessee team caught some good luck with Duke losing to Mercer. So you play Mercer in the second round instead of having to play Duke, and then now all of a sudden you're in the Sweet 16. Who's to say that won't happen to this Tennessee team? Because they're going to need a little bit of luck. Not saying that they need that type of upset.
Everybody needs luck.
What's that?
I think everybody needs luck. If you're going to win a championship basketball, you got to have some luck. Like Virginia a couple years ago got away with a double dribble against Auburn. Yes, like they were lucky there. Like last night, Alabama in South Carolina. Brandon Miller traveled 8 times, and they didn't call it. They got lucky. So you got to have a little bit of luck. Like, it's part of it.
You do. And I mean, even to that awful week that was Missouri and Vanderbilt, I mean, that was an unlucky week for Tennessee. And obviously Tennessee did things to put themselves in position to lose those basketball games, and you want to correct those things. But there was a little bit of luck involved in the sense of the Vanderbilt shot was wide open, but he still could have missed. That Missouri shot was a heck of a buzzer beater from nearly half court. Like, I mean, maybe good luck is on Tennessee's side that night, and both of those shots don't go down, and then all of a sudden you're looking at this Tennessee team a little bit differently. So I'm not going to pick Tennessee to make a deep run at this point. The inconsistencies are maddening, and I think at this point in the year, you are what you are, or you are what your resume says you are to this point. And,
really?
And in my opinion, Tennessee's resume says they're inconsistent. But I'm certainly not blind to the fact that they are certainly capable of making a run.
Yeah, here's a good thing though, Ben. Here's the part where you can be optimistic a little bit, is that everyone has been inconsistent. Like, Purdue was thought to be the program that's head over heels over everybody else, and they have had some bad losses, and they have been exposed. Since the Indiana game, they have been exposed. Houston has been exposed. Kansas went through a 3-game losing streak, and they've bounced back from a 3-game losing streak, and they've been playing well now, but, like, there's not a team that's playing so much better than everybody else. So Tennessee is basically lumped in with a bunch of teams that also have been playing inconsistent, that you can say any one of these teams can go win it. Like, it's all been inconsistent. That's the positive side of where Tennessee basketball is right now. The negative side is, hey, man, they lost 5 out of the last 7. You got 2 of your star players hurt. And you found ways to lose some games. Now, that can make you stronger and better, and you can learn from those situations, because you're going to need to learn from those situations when you play in a tournament, because there's going to be a lot of close games like that. Tennessee may play in them, but I promise you there's going to be some close games in the tournament. And if Tennessee's in them, you need to be able to learn from the Mizzou and Vanderbilt losses to not allow that to happen again. So when Julian Phillips comes back, he has to be that slasher to the basket that A&M was being against us on Tuesday, because it can't just be Zakai Ziegler. There were so many times that he was trying to penetrate, trying to get to the basket, but he's short. He's short. And there's some things that he just can't do at his height. He just can't do. And this roster, looking at this team on Tuesday, it's like, yo, he's the only person that can, like, penetrate and go get to the basket, make a shot. But even with his height, he had a hard time with the floater. So a lot of our shots were on the outside. Tuesday, and that wasn't the first time, but Tuesday, it was a slap in the face for me. I was like, man, we are really missing Kennedy Chandler. We are really missing a guy like that. And, boy, I can't wait to see Freddie De Leon, because he's a guy that can do those things. And I was sure hoping he was playing right now, because he could do some of those things that I think this team is missing on the offensive end. But one of the things that was encouraging for me on Tuesday was I love when Santiago Vescovi got in Uros's face, because he didn't hold his seal, and it resulted into a turnover. And that's what we need to see. Guys holding each other accountable and demanding the most out of each other. But I'm with you, man. I just don't know what to expect. I have no clue what to expect. I've seen this team be really good. I've seen this team be really bad. But I've also seen other teams do the same exact thing, Ben, and that's what gives me some hope that this team can finish stronger. I was comparing this team to the 13-14 team as well this week, a team that's been inconsistent, a team that's frustrated the heck out of you during the regular season. Also has some good wins, but frustrated you as well. But because of the draw in the NCAA tournament, was able to make a run. And I'm hoping this team can do the same thing.
They're certainly capable of it. They just have quite a bit of things that they need to get going here, and not a lot of time to fix those things. I'll be curious to see if there's an adjustment period to getting Josiah and Julian back in the lineup and back in the fold. First, they need to get Julian back. Josiah said he was going to play this Saturday at the Big Orange Tip-Off Club.
Hold on, Ben. Did you hear Jimmy Dykes?
Yes, I did.
I mean, he basically called out Josiah.
He did, and I was surprised that he did call him out in that manner. And this is a conversation that needs to be had. I get to watch practice twice a week. One practice before each game. They allow the media to sit and watch practice after Rick or whoever speaks gets done with their media availability. And I mean, just generally walking around, Josiah has appeared to be fine, relatively speaking. And again, obviously I'm there for an hour and a half. I get to see an hour and a half, 2 hours a week, maybe a little bit more, hour and a half, 2 hours of each practice that I'm at each week. And there's so much else that goes on behind the scenes and whatnot. And just because he appears to be walking fine, that doesn't mean that his ankle is okay to play on, is the point that I'm getting to. And I've seen him taking shots on his own on the other end of the floor, and there's not a real noticeable limp. I mean, he's going kind of half speed and looks fine as he's pretending to come off a curl and take a jump shot and working on his shot and just kind of doing some loose running around. I've honestly been, if I'm being completely honest, I've been surprised that he's missed 4 straight games, but that doesn't mean that he's okay to play against Texas A&M on Tuesday night, whatever night it was. I just don't think it's fair for people to question Josiah's want to, because he's a guy that is on numerous occasions. You can speak to this better than I can. Ankle sprains aren't an easy thing to deal with. They're weird. They're weird injuries. B, Josiah has played through multiple injuries throughout his career, which I don't know why you would question somebody's toughness where there's a history of the guy playing through injury in his career. And C, he did it earlier this season, playing through injury. And he said publicly when he was dealing with the funkiness in his left knee coming off of the procedure that he had over the offseason that was still bothering him at the start, he said that it was bothering him against Colorado, and he knew he probably should not have played in that next game against Florida Gulf Coast, but he didn't feel right sitting out that game because of how the team had just looked against Colorado. He didn't feel like that was the game to not play because his knee felt weird. Like, not only is there a long list of him playing through injury during his career, we've seen him do it this season, and he's talked about it publicly this season. So just because you see Josiah on the sideline and he doesn't have a boot on, or he's not walking with a limp, he's not walking gingerly, that doesn't mean that he's able to play and he's being soft and thinking about himself and choosing not to play. Josiah Jordan-James does not strike me as that type of guy. After being around him the last 4 years and knowing how much he means to this team, I don't at all believe that he would do that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know exactly what Josiah, from a mental standpoint, is going through, because that's the hurdle you got to get over. It's the mental hurdle to get back out there where you have experienced an injury like that. He's had a knee, now it's an ankle, and like mentally you have to get over that hurdle. And as long as you can look at your teammates in the eye and yourself in the eye, look in the mirror and say, hey man, like I can't go. Either you can or you can't. And you know your body better than anybody. So there's guidelines that trainers and doctors use when it comes to the length of time someone needs to be out for ankle sprain, or grade 1, grade 2, grade A, B, whatever. But at the end of the day, it's about how you feel. And you got to listen to your body. He went through it earlier this season when he felt guilty that his team lost without him, and he went back out there and he wasn't ready. There's no need to do that again. So we don't know. Jimmy Dykes don't know. Rick Barnes don't know. No one knows except for Josiah. So he has to be the one that is able to lay his head on the pillow. And his teammates have to be able to look in his eyes and know that, hey, man, he's giving us what he can and have that trust. So we're not in that locker room. We don't know. And I felt guilty when I had a ankle sprain my senior year, and I wasn't out there. And I tried to play after spraining mine against Georgia. There was a bye week after the Georgia week, and then Alabama after that. So I had 1 week off, and I tried to play against Alabama. And I had to take myself out of the game because I was going to hurt my team trying to play because I felt guilty if I missed any time because I was a captain. So that's always the burden that you have in a Josiah Jordan James place, that you are one of the leaders, you're one of the captains, you're banged up, and you don't want to let your team down. But at the same time, you got to take care of yourself. You know your body better than anybody else. And I'd rather have Josiah Jordan James healthy during this stretch leading to the tournament than trying to be playing and tournament time be out like Cal Alexander was out, and it cost us an opportunity to advance. So let me go to the phones right quick, and then we'll take a break. Welcome to the program. Good evening.
Good evening, guys.
What's up, Turkey Man?
Hey, buddy. Good to hear you guys today. I was wondering about our baseball team. One thing of what is going on with them, and maybe Ben could explain a little bit about the difference in the hitting as far as when the ball can be pitched. Or I watched a little bit of it.
Oh, they speeding the game up. They speeding the game up, Turkey Man.
Well, is it really affecting us in hitting that much more than anybody else?
No.
Okay, what's wrong with the hitting?
There are a bunch of new players in new roles, and also in the two games that you played legitimate competition, you were without two of your best bats in the lineup in Maui Ahuna and Griffin Merritt. So they're obviously not going to be the offense that they were last year, but they're still gonna be a good lineup. There's just going to be an adjustment period as new players slide into new roles.
What about the catching? How's that going to be this year from what you've seen?
I think that is still in the process of being figured out. I think it's certainly going to be Charlie Taylor or Cal Stark. Right now, if I had to guess, I think it'll end up being Cal Stark. But Charlie Taylor is very, very good defensively, and that's what coaches care about most when it comes to catching, as you know. So I could certainly see Charlie getting the first crack in conference play against SEC opponents as the catcher because of how good he is defensively. But I do think ultimately Cal Stark is probably going to take over at catcher because he's really solid defensively. It's just that Charlie is better, but he's definitely better with the bat. So Charlie had a big night against Alabama A&M last night, but that's against Alabama A&M. He needs to show some offense against some legitimate competition if he's going to want to play when it comes to SEC play.
Going to basketball before I get off here.
Turkey Man, where you been the whole show? We already covered all this.
No, you ain't talking about what I'm thinking about.
All right, go for it.
Which is the best five players that gives us the best chance of winning?
Ooh. Well, two of them out.
Well, as far as tournament goes, what five players we have got to have, and they need to be in there for us to win.
Ooh.
This swapping in and out, for most part, ain't working. You got to get you maybe two, 7.
Turkey Man.
Two. I want the five best.
Turkey Man, you need more than five.
Well, we got to have five that makes the difference because right now they ain't got that.
You got to have depth.
This is bad.
You got to have depth. You got to have depth, Turkey Man. I mean,
I thought we had depth.
We do. But two of the best guys, 40% of your starting roster is not playing. So I think you got to take that in consideration. The Vanderbilt loss, you had those guys, so that's no excuse there. But you can't go win a lot of basketball games with just a starting five. You got to have depth. And so the starting five that's been the best for Tennessee is with Josiah at the 4. You put Olivier at the 5, and you got Julian Phillips, Santi at the 2, and then Z at the 1. And then you kind of go from there. Depending on the matchups, the other team, you go how long you can go with that 5 depends on the matchups and with the other team. But that's been the best 5 that I've seen this year. You just got to get those guys healthy and play them more. But you got to have a bench turkey, man. You got to have guys come off the bench and be able to contribute. Tyreek Key has to be able to shoot the ball with confidence and make shots. You need Uros to go in there and do his job when he goes in. Meshack has been pleasant. I won't say a surprise because we've seen his development early in the season, especially offensively, and he's always been good defensively. But he has been really good in the time that Julian and Josiah have been out. So you just hope that when all these guys come back that we see the best versions of this Tennessee basketball team that we saw a little bit earlier in the season. We haven't seen them in the last couple of weeks, but we've had some injuries. And so there's still a chance this team can still go far in the tournament, Turkey Man.
Well, did Tony get a black eye?
Yeah, I think Ben's trying to get some Maui Ahuna information, and Tony wouldn't give it to him, so Ben took matters in his own hands.
He got hit by a line drive in practice.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yep.
Okay. Well, what about that? What that player going to get released to play? That the one that's waiting on the NCAA to give the thumbs up.
Sorry, man. You said you been here. You ain't been here. We talked about that first of the show.
I was listening.
No, you wasn't listening. You wasn't paying attention. That was the lead topic today on the program. You got to go back and look at the podcast. Listen to the podcast.
Well, I get out of here.
All right, Turkey, man. We got to keep moving, man. We got to get to football, so that's where we're going now.
Football? What's that?
Man, you wouldn't even think we play football around here, man. All these
Please.
other huh?
Please, you seen the reaction to these basketball losses and to the 2 baseball losses in the first 2 games of a 60-game season?
Folks,
tell me we don't play football around here.
Folks are expecting, and it's weird because it's a different sport. Folks are expecting the same offensive production and the same style of play and winning the same way in basketball that we did in football and in baseball. And I know baseball last year offensive we were great, but it's still a different team. It's a different team. So I wasn't expecting this Tennessee baseball offense to be the same as last year. Dang sure wasn't expecting this Tennessee basketball team to have explosive offense like the football team. Not expecting that one bit. But yeah, there has been a little bit of news with Tennessee football. So we'll take a break and get to that. 865-255-03. Ben McKee, Go Vols 247. Jason Swain live here from the Low T Center studio. Stay with us. Be right back.
Still sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out how to buy and sell in this complicated market? I get it, and I understand why you're hesitant. That's where I come in. Call me, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. I'm happy to help answer any questions you have, and whether you're ready to rock in 2 weeks or 2 years, I'll be here. Look forward to hearing from you soon, and go Vols!
Fellas, do you need an annual health exam? I recommend going to Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They will check all of your levels, not just your T level. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and office visit with the medical provider to give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy, even verifying your insurance. Go to lowtcenter.com LowTCenter.com now to book your online appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
The conversation doesn't stop when the show is over. Follow the Swain Event on Twitter and like the show on Facebook.
Got some coaches getting paid. Deservingly so. This team won 11 games this season, exceeded all expectations. Now, Bill Connolly from ESPN, the S&P, he predicted Tennessee to have a monster season, but he's probably the only one that backed it up with some numbers and some facts. But Tennessee exceeded expectations, and today, you heard about raises and contract extensions with this Tennessee football staff. Josh Heupel, we heard about his big-time contract extension and raise, $5 million to $9 million, deservingly so. When you look at around the league and other guys getting raises, the money they're making, we see that Willie Martinez is up to $540,000 after making $465,000 last year. Jerry Mack was making $500,000 after making $425,000, so $75,000 raise. Kelsey Pope had a built-in raise from $225,000 in 22 to $250,000 in 2023. I said this on Josh and Swain earlier today. If there's a coach that deserves a huge raise based on what he inherited and what he was able to put on the field, and that's Kelsey Pope. First time on the field coach, took a guy that was a bench warmer and did not perform up to his capabilities last year in Jalen Hyatt to a Blitnikoff Award winner. He also took a guy in Brew McCoy that was unproven as a college football player, period, let alone a wide receiver. Took him, a guy that was coming off a major surgery, out of shape, forgotten about, and Brew McCoy had the best year of his career. You throw in Ramel Keaton, had his best year of his career. You throw in the ability to get a guy like Squirrel White ready to play in key moments. I mean, dude, Kelsey Pope did a hell of a job. Hell of a job. So looking for Alec Ablin to do the same thing, coming from off the field role to on the field role, looking for that same type of impact. But, hey, man, there's a lot of money going around in college football, these coaches. I'm glad that we don't have much coaching turnover and staff turnover. That's the thing that's important.
It is. And the most impressive thing to me about Kelsey Pope is that Cedric Tillman goes down and there's no drop-off in terms of receiver production in general. And the development of Squirrel White from game 1 to game 13. I mean, he looks like a guy that is in for a big sophomore season if he has a nice off season. So Kelsey Pope was really, really impressive. I thought Rodney Garner and Glenn Ellerbe, those two are two of the unsung heroes of this past football season. Obviously, everybody talks about Rodney Garner and how much he means to Tennessee.
Yep.
But I don't think Tennessee wins the amount of games that it did, 11 games, and beat all the teams that it did, without the offensive line and defensive line taking a step forward. Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, all those weapons, they're sexy, they're fun to watch, but they don't matter if the offensive line and defensive line take a step forward. They just don't. Tennessee was able to win key games against talented football teams because of what it did in the trenches. That allowed Hendon and the weapons to be successful. I go back and look at the Super Bowl. Why did the Chiefs win the Super Bowl, Swain?
0 sacks.
That is 1,000% why. Travis Kelce, arguably the greatest tight end of all time. He was terrific. Patrick Mahomes, who I think it's going to be a pretty big upset if he doesn't end his career as the greatest quarterback of all time, just because of what he's already done in a short amount of starting at this level. 3 championships in 5 seasons, and in 5 starting seasons, he's made it to the AFC Championship game every single time. Like, he's phenomenal. He's one of the greatest of all time already. 5 seasons in as a starter. But as great as those guys were, the Chiefs are not beating the Eagles, and Eagles defense that was the best in the NFL this season. Maybe the 49ers would like a piece of that conversation, but the Eagles led the NFL in sacks, and that's why I picked the Eagles to win the Super Bowl, because I thought that front seven would take over. But Trey Smith and Creed Humphreys and Orlando Brown Jr. and that Chiefs offensive line, they shut them out, threw up a goose egg. That's why Patrick Mahomes and Kelce were able to have success. So I maybe you can refresh my memory. Did Rodney get a raise? Glenn Ellerby, what was his? Like, those two deserve as big a raise as anybody in the country for the way that they were able to develop their units.
Yeah, Glenn Ellerby got a $100,000 raise. He's up to $900 after making $800 in 2022. And then Rodney Garner got a raise of $85,000 as well. So, yeah, I mean, this staff did a really, really good job. And Glenn Ellerby is one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. Could have left, got offers, but didn't. And I think we're lucky to have him. We know about Rodney Garner. He's the best in the business. And so the only turnover you had is with the coach taking a head coaching job. And so second year in a row where I've been very comfortable about the changes with our staff, and I don't think the boat rocked too much. I think we upgraded from the staff in year 1 to year 2, 1,000%, and that's what it's about. It's about getting better each and every year. From a roster standpoint and a coaching staff standpoint, I feel like we did that from year 1 to year 2. All right, Ben, we got some engagement here on the text box and then on YouTube chat. So let me go to the YouTube chat first. And I just encourage anyone not to speculate on whether Josiah Jordan-James could have went or could not have went. I know Jimmy Dykes said what he said. We'll see how Josiah Jordan-James looks this weekend. I just think it's unfair because we don't know how he feels. I've been there myself, and so I wouldn't want anybody assuming they know how I feel when they not me. Like, that don't make any sense. But as long as he can look his teammates in the face and the eyes and they believe him, then that's all that matters. Nobody outside the locker room really matters when it comes to that. Taylor May says, dang, Swain wouldn't even answer Turkey Man's question about Maui. Said, go watch the podcast. Ha ha, just playing. We only doing an hour show. So we don't have the time to go back like we used to. We had 3 hours a day. So we only doing an hour. So we led with Maui, and Turkey Man missed it. He got to go back and check the podcast out. We'll have it up here in a little bit. It's all good. Taylor May was joking, though. Was Rodney Garner extension built in, or should he have gotten at least 2 more years? I want to say it was built in. It looks like that's the case here. There was an escalator that was already built in. And so that's what it looks like. Let's see here. It looks that way. But he goes up $85,000. Because the Pope had a built-in raise. But for Rodney Garner, and Rodney ain't going nowhere, man. I know some teams probably try to get him, but, man, his his kids are involved. Tennessee athletics, like they love it here. And same thing can be said about Coach Eckler, who probably was enjoying the hell out of National Chili Day today. Wayne said Pope did an incredible job, and Coach G just does Coach G things every year. LB was a true shocker for me with the development of Darnell Wright, who I think played incredible at right tackle. Shit. Boy, did he play incredible. He about to be a first rounder.
To the Steelers.
Man, I hope so. I remember a couple of years ago, Mike Tomlin was at Pro Day when James was coming out, and he told a couple guys that I'll be back. I'm coming back to get you. And I wouldn't be surprised one bit if the Steelers are taking another offensive lineman from Tennessee. Ramon Foster was dang good for the Steelers. And
You know that was a decade ago when he came for Jawan.
I know. But my point is he likes volunteers.
Oh, he definitely does. Shout out Cam Sutton, baby.
Yeah, he likes volunteers. That's my point. He loves some Tennessee Volunteers. So I
Shout
wouldn't
out
be
Dan
surprised.
McCullers.
Huh? Yeah. Okay. Got McCullers too. And they need
He
somebody to
played-
protect their franchise quarterback now, and Kenny Pickett, right?
That's right. Dan McCullers was a Steeler for like 5 years.
Hey, I was surprised he lasted that long, honestly. Happy that he did, but I was surprised. Wayne said Chiefs won because of Trey Smith. Man, it's an offensive line. 0 sacks. 0 sacks. That was
awesome.
That was the big thing in that game. All right, text box. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm trying to get up to date. All right, here we go. Riley Vall says, has Ben big time you yet now that he is Mr. Big Shot Knox? Nah, Ben don't ever big time me. Ben's big time, but he don't big time me now. Riley Vall says, are you boys ever coming to Raleigh? Love to have y'all eat some barbecue. I don't know when we would be in Raleigh. That's a good.
If the Vols are ever there, I'll be be there.
Don't be trying to give us none of that vinegary sauce either, man. I ain't got time for all that.
Is that what Carolina barbecue is known for?
Yeah, they give you the vinegar-based sauce and mustard-based sauce.
You're not a fan?
I mean, I like it. I just prefer the other styles better, but I still like it. Like I enjoy the vinegar-based sauce.
Good barbecue is good barbecue.
Exactly. Vol fan says so. Tim Corbin can expect a warm welcome to Lindsey Nelson. Yeah, that's fair to say. Jennifer Moore says, where are the guys currently predicted to play in the big dance? I heard Greensboro or maybe somewhere else. Currently, Bracketology, Joe Lenardi on ESPN has Tennessee as a number 3 seed in Greensboro in the same bracket as Purdue is the number 1 seed. Baylor is the number 2 seed, and Tennessee will be the 3rd seed there. Gonzaga 4, and yes, first weekend would be right there in Greensboro, which that's a hop and a skip for us. Also has Duke as a 6th seed, which would be a home game for Duke if we face them in the 2nd round. So that's it's a prediction. I won't say it's gold. There's a lot of basketball to be played. 3 regular season games. You got the conference tournament.
You know what Duke would be, right? If that scenario played out.
What's that?
Last year's Michigan team.
Oh yeah, I mean Duke's playing better now than they did a couple weeks ago. So
they are for sure.
Yeah,
but a team that has a ton of talent, but didn't quite piece it together during the regular season, but is capable of beating anybody and showing up.
Yeah, man, they had the best recruiting class last year, so they got some.
You see what John Shire said this week about his recruiting tactics? They're going to change it up and try to steer away from having as many freshmen as they've had the last couple of seasons.
Well, so I guess he's going to the portal.
Yeah, or just maybe not going as many one and dones potentially. Maybe like a 2 or so one and dones, 3 or so, and then a couple of guys that are probably going to stick around for 2-3 years, maybe 4.
Yeah. Probably smart. Z-Vol says, listen to you guys. Your views are always spot on. Clearly have done your homework. Keep it up. Go Vols. Yeah, just try not to sound like an idiot. Number one. Number two, man, I think it's important to inform our listeners. And you giving us your time. Your time is the most valuable thing that you can give someone. So we want to make sure it's worthwhile. Vol fan says SEC regular season goal is gone, so there's no reason to risk additional injury to Josiah or Julian. A March run is only going to be possible if they are fully healthy. Barnes said they aren't going to play them until they are fully healthy. Well, I think the most important thing outside of the NCAA tournament is to get one of the top 4 seeds in the SEC tournament so you can get the double bye. That's important. That's important. Vol fan says best 5 depends on matchup. Yeah, most of the time. But I think if you're Tennessee, you feel comfortable in Josiah being able to guard somebody in the post, and you say, hey, we gonna make you match up with us rather than us trying to just match up with you. Now, the second half of the Mizzou game, we had to match up with them because they had the lead and they was making 14. They made 14 threes on the game, and we had to adjust, and we did a good job of adjusting and got back in that game, but just wasn't enough. Go ahead, Ben.
I think Tennessee's best 5 consists of Zakai, Santi, Julian at the 3, Jemai Meshack at the 4, and Josiah at the 5.
When have we seen this lineup? Do I need to pull a Patrick Ewing on you?
We haven't seen this lineup.
Do you practice that shot? When do you practice that shot? Have you seen that lineup play?
I feel you. I do. And we're not going to see that lineup. But my point that I'm getting to is that I trust that 5 on the floor more than I trust 4 of them, which if I'm taking one off, it would be probably Jemai. I think you could make an argument at this point with how Jemai has come on of late. I think maybe Jemai's more productive than Julian on both ends of the floor. But that conversation aside, I would trust those 5 on the floor together more than I trust 4 of them in a post player. You don't know what you're going to get from the post. Is it Olivier? There's nights where I think it's Olivier. There's nights where I think it's Jonas. There's nights where I think it's Tobe. It's the best big man of the bunch is different every night. I can't trust any of them. You don't know which one's going to show up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Shout out to Tobe Walker, who was 4 for 5 from the free throw line.
Hey, the practice on Monday that I was at before Texas A&M, you know who were the last 2 guys in the gym shooting free throws?
Walker and Uros.
Ziegler. Tobe and Ziegler.
Oh, why you ask me a question that way? I'm gonna give you the name of the guys that have been struggling from the free throw line the most.
Well, Zakai has been struggling as a shooter. Zakai was the last one in the gym on Monday. He finished with free throws, but he was the last one in the gym getting up shots from 3. He was working on his shot from the perimeter and then finished with a couple free throws. But Tobe was in there about 10, 15 minutes after practice working on free throws, and Zakai was getting up some shots from the perimeter and then finished with a couple of free throws.
Okay. All right. Jeffrey Moore says, as long as we're not in Sister Jean's bracket, I'm cool. I know, right?
I don't even think they're going to be in the tournament, Loyola Chicago, unless they win their conference tournament.
Yeah, if that's the case, then they'll be up in there. I don't see them anywhere. I
don't think they're that good this year.
No, they haven't been good ever since the coach.
They had one good year.
Oklahoma. All right. I don't really have much about Alabama. It's sad.
The basketball itself or the situation?
Well, I mean, I'll say this about Brandon Miller. His ability to compartmentalize what's going on over the last couple of weeks and go out there and perform is pretty impressive. I mean, he's like Kobe Bryant when Kobe Bryant was going through his legal issues. I mean, for someone to be involved the way he's involved with that case and go out there and play the way he's playing, it hasn't affected his game. It's pretty remarkable. But that doesn't matter. It's not important. A young lady lost her life. 5-year-old son doesn't have a mom anymore, and he's involved in that. And there's more details coming out. There's been details that have come out over the last couple of days. The lawyer has put out to his account. Of course, he is defending Brandon Miller, so that's what he's going to do. It's just hard for me to believe that Brandon Miller hasn't missed a minute of basketball since that incident happened. It's just hard for me to believe how that he ain't missed any time. And I wonder if he was a bench warmer or even if he was not an athlete, would he be treated this way? That's weird. I'm gonna continue to kind of sit back and let more come out. But Nate Oates' comments the other day, his initial ones were embarrassing and terrible. But man, Alabama sure didn't give him a heads up before talking to the media, because he came straight from practice to the media, and all the details were dropped from the preliminary hearing. Now, a couple weeks ago, Nate Oates said that Miles was the only member of the Alabama team connected to the shooting. He said his team met Sunday night, and there were a lot of hugs. This was like the initial story. And so there's a lot of inconsistencies in some stories over the last couple of weeks, especially with some of these new statements that have come out. But I'm gonna let it continue to play out. It's super sad, man. It's super sad. It's just surprising that Miller hasn't missed any time at all. And I'm not trying to sit here and say he should be kicked off. I'm not saying that he should go to jail, but man, this dude's representing a university. He's connected to a shooting where someone died, and he hasn't missed any time at all. That is weird to me. So that's the only thing I really got about the whole Alabama thing. Florida Gators, they've lost 3 assistants in the last 2 days. Looking at a tweet from Chris Lowe, Florida's defensive coordinator, tight ends coach, took jobs with the Cardinals, and then Kerry Colbert, former USC baller receiver, played years in the NFL. He left to go coach the Broncos wide receivers. Coach Z went to New York to coach the Jets wide receivers. And so, Florida, 3 coaches. Is it a coincidence? The drama that's going on with the NIL down in Florida, and you have 3 coaches who are like, man, forget this. Forget this. I ain't got time for this, man. Y'all got to get y'all NIL stuff together. Y'all making it hard on me. I'm going to the league. Which makes you more appreciative for what Spire Sports Group is doing. Makes you more appreciative. So, nothing is perfect in the NIL world. It's difficult. It's a struggle every day. It's tough. I think things are settling down a little bit. The market is kind of settling down, but it's still the octagon dealing with NIL. But I think Tennessee is one of the top teams or schools in the country that's handling it. So 3 Florida assistant coaches going to the NFL, and I don't blame them one bit if you don't have a collective that is on the same page. It can get things done. All right, Benjamin McKee, you're a homeowner. I'm a homeowner. We have several homeowners listening, and I think it's important for you homeowners to know that if you're looking to upgrade any systems in your house, whether it's a whole home generator, you need to replace that, or a HVAC system, right now Hiller has a promotion where you can pick between a free 55-inch TV, Apple iPad, Solo Stove, or Nintendo Switch when you purchase either a whole home generator or HVAC system. So you get to choose between one of those special prizes. When you upgrade to a new tankless water heater, you can choose between a Nintendo Switch, Solo Stove, or free 55-inch TV. So awesome deals at Hiller, happyhiller.com for you if you need to replace some of your necessary home replacements. You need to handle that. Healers techs are background and drug screen, and they've been on my house several times, and they always make sure they leave the place better and cleaner than they found it. Their work is guaranteed, so happy you'll be, or the service is free. So if you're not happy, man, they take care of you right there. My favorite part is the quick online booking. You can get online, select the appointment time, and boom, you get instant confirmation. I actually got a tune-up here in a couple of days where he'll be back at the house, making sure everything is ready to go, because this weather is crazy. It's hot 1 minute, it's cold 1 minute, and so it's about to be hot here in spring in a couple of weeks, so we want to make sure we all set and ready to go. Ben, did we miss anything that we need to touch on right quick before we get out here for the evening?
No, I think you're spot on with your thoughts about Alabama and Florida. It's a sad situation with the Alabama basketball team, and Billy Napier not quite fitting in Gainesville the way that I thought that he would early on.
Not his fault.
No, it's not. College football has some calendar issues that it needs to fix, but again, Napier just isn't clicking with Florida just yet. It's early, but I figured he would be further along than he is to this point. And you look at what they have on the roster, don't really have a quarterback, don't really have any weapons.
They got the transfer dude from Wisconsin, Graham Mertz, but
yeah, but okay, cool.
All right.
I mean, whatever. Like
he's more proven than the quarterback we got at starter right now.
Okay, but I'd take Joe Milton over him.
I would too. I'm just saying he is more proven.
Jared Garantano and JT Stroud are experienced as well.
I ain't say experience. I said proven.
Proven in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
He's solid, but
he's solid. But
they don't really have an offensive line coming back. It looks like, and they have Ricky Pearsall, but I think if he's your best weapon on the perimeter, I think your skill position is lacking. They lost quite a bit of running backs. They don't have a ton of talent on defense. Like I don't see a super successful season coming. I think it'll be challenging for them to get to 6-6, quite frankly.
Again? Oof.
Yeah, again. So no, I think you're spot on in all of that. And boring basketball game more than likely on Saturday against South Carolina, but I guess we'll see. I was not expecting South Carolina to take Alabama down to the wire and to overtime, and certainly there were exterior circumstances that contributed to that. But South Carolina not good at all, so it'll be disappointing if Tennessee allows them to hang around. And then Tennessee baseball has 3 this weekend. We'll see how the weather impacts them, but they've got a 3-game series with Dayton, the Dayton Flyers coming into town. So we'll have plenty of coverage of it all at Go Vols 247.
All right, my friend. That sounds good. That sounds good. Hey, good job. Good job as always. Podcast will be up momentarily. So if you are listening live, thank you so much. If you're listening on a podcast, thank you for making the Swain Event part of your day. For Ben McKee of Go Vols 247, I'm Jason Swain, and we hope everyone has a fantastic evening who's listening live. I hope you have a great day if you're listening on the podcast. Peace and love. We are out.